Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Bitcoin. We're going to do a full update for today. I mean, not much has happened this weekend, of course. It is the weekend, and we're getting back into very normal weekend markets. Although last weekend was pretty similar. But the next 24 hours are going to be volatile, right? I mean, the market is going to open again. The volume over the course of this weekend has dropped down quite low, even lower than what it was last weekend. So that usually means liquidity dries up as well. So that usually means that when new liquidity and new capital flows into the markets, that's going to cause volatility. And we need to be ready for that. So that's what we'll do in this video. Now, I will try to put out a market update video later this evening. I'm not certain if I'll be able to do that because I'll be gone for the majority of the day. But there are some things next week that you do need to know about. It's a relatively quiet week in terms of economic data, but we do have a speech by Jerome Powell Tuesday. Wednesday we have existing home sales, doesn't really matter. Thursday we have PMI data and jobless claims data, that does matter. And then Friday we have nothing important. But we do have earnings. We have a lot of earnings data coming out on Wednesday, so that might matter. Generally, also for the economic health. But okay, so Bitcoin itself. Look, yesterday somebody said, up down. That I'm very, or at least that it seems like I don't know which way we're going, and I want to stress that is true, right? But I've always, in the last couple of videos, I've always said the same, right? I mean, ever since on Friday we lost the 7-day rolling VWAP, I think on the lower time frames we have lost the uptrend. We've gotten into balance, which I think is also very, very clear if you take a look at this chart right here. We've gotten into balance, and from balance you can get both a bullish breakout and a bearish breakdown. That is just technically the truth. However, our main objective is to be ready for both scenarios and to get a bit of a bias as to which one of the two is more likely, right? So that's also what this video serves. Or that's what I make these videos for. But right now, look, the main two levels that you need to know about regarding Bitcoin are 120,300 and I would say 116,800. Those are kind of the most important levels around the price and around the balance that we are forming, and those are the two key levels to potentially trade. If you want to trade a breakout within that area, it's just going to be choppy, and I would avoid trading at all costs within there. And in these markets, there are enough altcoins to trade outside of Bitcoin. But then the question becomes, all right, well, which one of the two is more likely, right? A bullish breakout, since the fundamentals around the markets are still good, and since, for example, the 4-hour time frame, Bitcoin is still holding the 4-hour uptrend, which is still true right now. Or are we going to get some sort of a bearish deviation before reclaiming the uptrend and then going for highs? Because I do want to stress that I do think it's most likely that we're going to get a move up to at least the equal highs at 123,000. I think fundamentally and technically that's very likely. Whether the uptrend has ended, whether we are going to get into a consolidation now, that does not really matter to me. In both scenarios, it is very likely we're going to get up there. However, what I always said is that I think it's a little bit, and this is very much based on feelings, but I think it's a little bit more likely that, or I've said this over the last 2 days, that we're going to grab some sort of those, or some of the imbalances to the downside towards 114,000 before reclaiming this balance right here and getting that move up higher. And I still think this is most likely. All right. However, like I said, even though I think this is most likely, this does not mean short. And it also doesn't mean that you should not long if we break above 120,000. Right, it is a possibility, just purely objectively speaking, that we'll do something like this. So generally, I think you have to be bullish on the markets. Generally, I think you have to be ready for a move into the equal highs, at least with a potential of new all-time highs. But I would say it's a little bit more likely that we're going to see it like this, and that you need to be ready for some sort of a pullback and then a good entry after that. But those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know regarding Bitcoin for now. So hopefully that helps. But for now, that's it. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.